Hello, welcome back to all your witches, wizards and muggers out there. Today we're going to talk about the most hated character in all of literature, history, and I can say that with confidence. And if you read the title, you know what we're going to get ourselves into here. We're going to talk about Professor Dolores Jane Umbridge, and I don't even know if she should even keep her name as professor because she was rubbish as a teacher. Ugh. Anyway, today I'm going to be discussing why I hate Professor Umbridge and what the internet thinks of her. I got my little computer set up here and we're just going to see what the internet thinks about her as well. So if you guys like this video, don't forget to give it a thumbs up, click subscribe before you leave, and also turn on the post notification bell so you can be notified whenever I upload. Anyway, let's go ahead and get started. Okay, so let's look in my trusty Harry Potter theories notebook that I love showing off. I love being a Radcliffe. Anyway, let's see, what did I write? Alright, so Umbridge. Where do we even start? I guess the reason why we hate Professor Umbridge so much is that she reminds all of us about the teachers that we used to hate in school. You know, there was always one teacher that we don't like, and if you say you loved all your teachers in school, I know you're lying, because there is always the one person that we all hated as a teacher. I had several. And actually, Professor Umbridge reminds me of Miss Trunchbull from Matilda. They're just so similar. They're both teachers slash principals. They both hate children and they're both ambition and they have their own torture devices. Miss Trunchbull has the chokey. Ooh, when I saw that as a kid, I freaked out. And Professor Umbridge has her blood quill. So they like to torture children on a regular basis, which I obviously don't condone considering I am a childhood teacher. You know, like, that's just, when I watched that broke my heart and read that just, like, what sick-minded person can do that to a child, let alone several children? How can the minister allow that to happen? Like, you would think he would do several check-ins on Hogwarts to make sure that Dumbledore wouldn't be, like, you know, going against him and stuff. Even though he had an insider, you would think that Fudge would walk in, check on the students to make sure that there's no army risen or something like that. I was even more surprised that none of them complained to their parents about it. You know what I mean? Like, if that happened to me, I would write a letter to mum and dad and ask them to put me out, because I would not sit in a school with a teacher who would torture children. Like, that's just wrong. And did you know Professor Umbridge was also sorted into Slytherin? And while some Slytherins are not evil, most of them are highly ambitious, aka Professor Snape and Draco Malfoy. Professor Umbridge is a pure definition of Slytherin: cunning, ambition, and according to some Gryffindors, evil. And I guess that explains so much into her character. And she's also a half-blood, so she's a hypocrite herself. And when I read that on Potterheads, I was like, oh my god, like, she's just another female version of Voldemort in a way. Because all my friends who haven't read Harry Potter, I'm like, Voldemort is like Hitler. You know, he always wants pure bloods. He is killing all the muggles just so they can have like a pure line, even though he himself is half-blood. So I call him Hitler based on that fact. But Professor Umbridge is also like Voldemort herself, but in a female version, if that makes sense. And I'm sorry, this is just, Umbridge makes me cringe. She does. Especially the actress who played her. She did a spot-on job. And my heart really broke as well when she was trying to evict Trelawney from the castle, and how Trelawney was saying, this is my home for 16 years, and that broke my heart. Like, what kind of evil person would just stand there and smile just because she didn't give it a prediction right there and then? Like, I can't get her mind. She's a fascinating character in that sense. Like, what went through her mind as she did all these horrible acts. That's what I want to know. And I really wish J.K. Rowling could write Order of the Phoenix from Umbridge's point of view. That would be very, very interesting read, I find. And another thing I also found out on Pottermore is that, obviously, we discussed she was a half-blood, but she also has a brother who was denounced as a squib. So her brother and her mother waltzed out on her life, and she and her father rose up in the ranks in the ministry. And I thought that was actually a really good insight to Umbridge and how she saw and how we actually see her, and explains so much how she's able to get the minister eating the putty out of her hands because she knew the ropes. So I find that really interesting as well. But my favourite bit about Professor Umbridge is when she was expecting the teachers, and like, she's a pretty racist as well and discriminating person. How she was measuring the height of Professor Flitwick and not, you know, expecting on his skills as a teacher, like how he teaches, the powerful spells that he will teach the children, things like that. I just had an assessment rating in our childcare centre, and that's when a person from the government comes and checks the centre, make sure you know your stuff and how we interact with the kids. So I was like, how could Umbridge do this? No, just measure height of a teacher. Like, that's just wrong. And also, you know, with Friends, is that how you say his name? You know, the senator that replaces Trelawney in the book. I can't get into her mind, and that's what makes her such a fascinating character, I think, because you don't know what she's going to do next. You don't know how she's going to torture you. You don't know who she's going to torture. You don't know what detention she's going to do. You don't know what proclamation degree she's going to put up. Like, she's just such a fascinating character. And my favourite bits are where Umbridge and Trelawney Umbridge and Professor McGonagall are interacting, especially in the book. So I got a reference here, page 286, which is chapter 15. And this is, so Professor McGonagall goes, "Now, the vanishing spell." "I wonder," said Professor McGonagall in cold fury, turning to Professor Umbridge, "how you expect to gain an idea of my usual teaching methods if you continue to interrupt me. You see, I do not generally permit people talking when I am talking." That Professor McGonagall is such a badass in the fifth book, and the movie does not show that. I was so disappointed in the Order of the Phoenix movie because they missed out on so much content. If they could split the Deathly Hallows in part 1, part 2, why didn't they do that to the Order of the Phoenix? Like, especially when Peeves was trying to unscrew the chandelier and Harry watches McGonagall, and McGonagall's like, it unscrews the other way. Like, she was deliberately telling Peeves, go ahead, make Umbridge hurt. Like, she's just a badass witch, and I admire that so much. Another one I like is on page 584, when they're in the career advice and Harry's sitting down with Professor McGonagall saying he wants to be an Auror, and McGonagall is obviously saying, well, you need to do Transfiguration, Defense Against the Dark Arts, Charms, Fantastic Beast, all that sort of stuff. And then Umbridge is like going, all the bloody time. So this is the quote. "Professor Umbridge gave her most pronounced cough yet. 'May I offer you a cough drop, Dolores?' Professor Umbridge asked without actually looking at her." She's just such a badass witch, and I love Professor McGonagall in the books. Like, she's just so sarcastic, so witty, And Umbridge, after that scene, you know, she sits in the back corner, writing furiously, blushing. Like, McGonagall is such a badass that she's able to slam Umbridge down to her lowest level. And that, to me, is a winner. Another thing I hated was when she was about to torture Harry when he was going to talk to Padfoot, aka Sirius. But she got her in coming to it when Hermione was saying, you know, that Dumbledore left a secret weapon, they go in the Forbidden Forest and they found Grawp and everything like that. I find Umbridge such a fascinating character, and I think she relates on so many levels, as I said at the beginning, because we all had that one teacher in school we didn't like. And I think this is a way for J.K. Rowling to connect with her audience by saying, you know, Harry had that one teacher he didn't like. Well, actually, he had several. He had Professor Snape, he had Gilderoy Lockhart, Professor Quirrell, Madame Moody, aka Barty Crouch. So there are other several teachers he didn't like. But from Muggles' perspectives, I think he related, like Umbridge relates a lot to us in that one teacher that we hated. So I'm going to end this video here. If you guys like this video, again, leave a comment down below letting me know what you guys think about Professor Umbridge. And if you guys want a tutorial on this Professor Umbridge inspired makeup look, I actually wore pink eyeshadow today. Look, pink eyeshadow. I hate pink. Like, give me pink eyeliner, clothing, makeup, anything, and I'm like, yeah, nah, gone. But I thought, you know, for today's video, I would dress for the occasion. And happy 1st of September to all your northern hemisphere people here. It's actually the 2nd of September when I'm filming this. I know I'm just a wagon for the 1st of September, but I was so tired from working on Friday. We had our Father's Day parade at school, so I was so buggered I could not film, so I thought today would be the perfect time to film. Anyway, I'm going to get going and I'll see you in the next one. Bye!